Now we will discuss about how to use an existing web service. Let's say somebody has hosted a web service on the internet. We want to create a client for it. How to do it? The important thing we need to know, we need to have access to their WSDL file. Here is an example WSDL file which is available here. You can see this is a WSDL file which someone has provided. It's a spell checker. So we are going to consume this the web service. Using the web service is called as consuming. So we will be consuming this web service for us. Okay, so let's see how to do these things now. Let's create from here new project. So the project we are going to use a web application. So under Java Web, we create web application. Next, we have to give a name for the project. So let's call it as spell check service. So spell check service. Next, and then you can finish this thing. So I think I did click cancel, so I need to type it again. So spell check service. Next, then you can click finish. So it will create the respective web application on your NetBeans. The next task is to make sure it is a web service or a web service client. So spell check service is here. It's not a web service yet. So right click, go to new, create web service client. So under web service client, you need to provide this WSDL. So go here, WSDL URL, provide the WSDL. All right, and then you can leave the package blank here. It will create the package accordingly from the WSDL, and you can click finish. So that will create what is called as web service references. So we have the web service references here. So if you go to web service references, you have check. Under check, we have another check. Then it's a SOAP. Under SOAP, we have these two. Okay, check version 2, check text body version 1 and version 2. Okay, so we have them here. And if you go into the generated sources, you can see this is the package name which they have used, and these are the packages that are generated here. And you also can see there is a under the web pages, if you go into WebINF WSDL, this is a local copy. You will find it as a local copy of the WSDL file. You can see this refers from their WSDL to this file here, which is this one, URI referring to this file. So it is under WSDL, and this under spell checker, you have this file. Okay. So this is their WSDL file. So sometimes if you are not connected to the net, or if the WSDL file is not accessible, you can still have access here. So this XML gives a reference to the file which is available under WebINF WSDL, and this is the package name, and then spell checker, and this is their actual WSDL file. Now let us continue developing a client now. Right, in here, if you want to develop a client, there are many ways to do, as we know. So we are going to use the index file here, which is available here. If you double click, you will find it here. So in the body, let's copy this form here. Basically, we need the user to type in something, and it will go to the server and check, okay, for the spell check. So I can see I have given here spell check servlet. Okay, so that is important. This is the action, so we need to write the class for this. So now let's continue to create a servlet. Right click on this, new, create a servlet. Right, we need to use the same name, spell check servlet, because that is a name we are given in the action part of your form. Right, in the client, if you go here, you will see under package, you can say client servlet. You need to give some name here, package client servlet. Need not be following exactly, but it's good just to follow it. And you can see it says spell check servlet is its URL referring to that class file. You can click finish. And if you now open the source package, this is what is a spell check servlet.java. It has the process request. Okay. Under process request, we need to actually add certain things now. Right. What you can do is this. You can click on any empty space, right click, insert code, and you can say, if you want to add something, you can specify here what you want to do. Call web service operation. So you can select call web service operation. Then you can go into our check SOAP version 2, and you can give OK. It will add the respective method. Instead, you can also drag and drop like what we did for the previous types. So now it has added the respective method, document summary. And you can see is this. Now if you go up, in here it is correctly referring to that URL here, okay, WSDL. You can see this is the local copy. As I have told you earlier, this is under web pages, web INF, WSDL. You will see if you go there, WSDL, WS spell checker, and this is our file, WSDL file, the local copy. It is referring there. Now we need to introduce certain things in our process request. Okay, let's copy paste this thing. Basically what it does is it reads information from the form and it is going to send the request to our servlet, okay, to that web service and to get reply from them. So you can save it. I have copied paste this code, but it gives me a lot of errors, you can see, okay. So basically what is missing there is the respective import is not there. So you can right click and say, right click and use fix imports. So it will add the respective imports there. So that would have done the job. Now we can just deploy our client. Okay, there are some more errors. Let's see. Okay, let's click on it, click run. Let's see what it is doing. The Glassfish is already running, so it is deploying it, and here is our service. Let's say I write testing and click on spell check. Right, it gives me an error here. Okay, so let's see the reason for the error. Basically, if you go back to our code here, right click, go to properties, go to run. Here we didn't specify the relative URL. Okay, so our actual class is what? Spell check servlet. So you should write here spell check servlet. Give OK. Let's run the project again. Let's see. So just now when I tried, I was not getting anything on the Glassfish because when I opened my browser, there was some problem. It didn't give me the answer. Okay, I was getting timeout like this: HTTP status 404, file not found, or not found. So there are a few ways to solve this kind of problems. You can go to tools in your NetBeans, go to options, and make sure the proxy settings are right. Okay, I am using no proxy. Then I click on test connection. It will check whether the connection okay. Green color signal means it's okay. If you change, you might need to click apply here. So once I'm done with it, and if still the problem persists, I can use what is called clean and build. I can clean and build my application. So it will clean everything and it will build the application new for me. Then once it is done, it creates a new files. It can also compile those files there. Then I can run the application. Okay, we need to give it some time. So now it is build is complete. Go to run, click run here. So it's going to open the browser. So if you go here and say testing, for example, spell check, it's going to check and tell you, okay, there's no mistake in testing. Let's say if I put test 10 like this, okay, we say there is something wrong here and these are the suggestions it has. So this is how we can consume an existing application. But instead, if you want to do it via asynchronous clients, what do you mean by asynchronous web service clients? Basically, sometimes when you connect to a server, get reply, you need to wait until you get the response from the server. This might consume a lot of time. Okay, we don't want to wait so long. While the reply is coming, when you send the connection, goes there to a server, process it, gets a reply back. Meanwhile, you want to do something else. So this is called asynchronous client. Or you can continue a task while something is happening at the background. This is possible, mainly this is done using some kind of GUI application. So we are going to use a swing form. We will create a swing form, apply the similar techniques what you have done before, and we'll continue on that line. We'll see that example as our next case. In the next scenario, we'll see an example on that.